Chairman, let me try to fill in some, or get some blanks filled in here. I don't have the answers. The meeting took place with WHO and CDC and FDA and others in February. In March, we know that there was a drift that was picked up of about 10%. Is that correct?
Actually, it was lower than that.
About 7%, I think I saw in your
like,
testimony.
4%.
Okay. Do we know what April was? Because we've got a few numbers on the chart, but we've got a lot of question marks. And if you don't, you can provide it to us.
In April, 14 viruses were shown that had reduced susceptibility to the strain, and that was out of 127, so that would be 11%.
Okay. Then we've got a number for May. Then June and July, we don't have another number on this chart until September. What were you all seeing in June, July, and August?
There were in June, July, and August, there were 88 viruses identified from the whole world that had reduced reaction, and so that comes to 36%.
Okay.
With reduced, that were mismatched.
Then there's another meeting, and there's a different Southern Hemisphere recommendation made, and we don't make the I think that's fine. If you could get us the other numbers just so we can kind of track it, that would be great. But then my question comes up, and I'm happy for anybody to answer it. Why didn't we have the manufacturing capacity for the virus to do a turn somewhere in this process? I think you said by June we were in the June, July we were in the 36% range, recognizing that flu season doesn't generally hit in a big way for another fair number of months. Why does the United States lack that manufacturing capacity? And as a subpart of that, if there was the capability of producing, and I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly, a monovalent vaccine, why didn't we do so? And if you all could focus on that, any member of the panel, please.
Maybe I can start and let Dr. Robinson continue. I think one thing to recognize in the summer is that we were looking at increasing proportions of H3N2 that were not well matched to the vaccine, but we still had the other 2 or 3 different strains that were in the vaccine. So the concept of producing a monovalent vaccine, we might have been asking the American public to take a monovalent vaccine plus the tri or quadrivalent seasonal vaccine. As we've been hearing, the American public isn't all that keen to get one flu vaccine a year. Would they really be lining up to get 2? But there are, of course, major limitations in the manufacturing capacity to make 2 different products for the same season. So I'll let Dr. Robinson answer that.
Dr. Robinson.
Thank you. During the manufacturing season, they're producing 3 or 4 vaccine strains all the way into June, maybe even July, if it's a tough year for them. At that time, and most of those are egg-based, at that time, they were in the summer putting those together, what they call blending, and putting together to go forward with the vaccine that was released in September to go out on the shelves. The ability to have what was called a recombinant vaccine that could be very quickly, that's certainly true. It can be maybe faster than some of the egg-based vaccines, but the capacity that we have right now with the licensed vaccine, only one recombinant-based vaccine, is very, very small. It would have made only been able to produce maybe hundreds of thousands of doses.
Let me ask the why on that. Is it because there's not a profit
to be made? One is it's a new vaccine.
Okay.
And 2, since it's a new vaccine, they are just scaling up to the market. This is an incumbent market, very competitive, and they were licensed in 2013. We are actually supporting their efforts in building a much larger facility to produce maybe tens of millions of doses, and so that they actually can, going forward, be able to produce, say, 50 million doses in 4 months of a monovalent vaccine for a pandemic, or maybe in this case, another influenza vaccine.
So you anticipate that our capacity will be greater in the next couple of years than it is today to react?
Indeed, it will be, because we will actually have the cell-based influenza vaccine facility down in North Carolina that has a large capacity. We'll be able to have that product on the market. But again, they are limited in that they are making seasonal flu vaccine at the same time that we may have wanted to do that. The other thing is that these manufacturers also produce vaccines for the Southern Hemisphere. So when they came off of making the vaccine for the Northern Hemisphere, then they started back to actually making the vaccine for the Southern Hemisphere. So we would have had to make a decision and tell them in September, stop doing that and go forward with a new vaccine. And we know that that's a difficult mid-course shift. But
if
in the
we
future, it will be
but we could have done that even in, say, July, when we knew we were at 36% that had drifted?
It would have been very, very difficult, sir.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. I see my time is up and yield back.
I